this video, I'm going to go over how to dimension in Revit. So I'm going to come up here to my dimension tool. This is the aligned command. There's also linear. The align just seems to work better, so that's the one that I always use. But you can also do angular, radial, diameter, and so on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this, what I have drawn right here. And the first thing that we need is we need an overall dimension. So when I come over to this wall, you'll notice as I hover over it, there's some different areas that become highlighted. So I can pick the face of the wall, or I can pick the center of the wall. And just depending on how you're dimensioning is what you're going to pick. But for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to do my overall dimension as the outside to outside. So I'm going to pick this side of the wall. And I'm going to come over here and pick that side of the wall. And then I'm going to bring this up, and I'm just going to drag this out to give us some breathing room. And right now we're at 3910. I want that to be 40. So what I'm going to do is, you got to remember with Revit, is you want to click the wall that you want to move. So I don't click this wall to make that 40. I click this one because this is the wall that needs to move over. So I'm going to click this, change that to 40, hit enter, and now that dimension is 40. The next dimension that we need is our corners. So I'm going to pick this, and I'm going to start picking all my edges like this. Bring that up. And then I'm just going to make this one 21'6". So again, I don't click this wall because that's if I want to change this dimension. If I want to change this dimension, I either have to click this wall or I have to click this wall. Now this dimension is already 6'6", so I want to leave that one. So this one I want to change. So I'm going to click this right here and change this one to 21'6". And that will change that one to 12. The next thing that I need to do is dimension our openings. So I'm going to click the edge right here. Now, if this was masonry or concrete, the way I would dimension these windows is I would come and I would pick the edge of the window like that to show that that's a 3-foot wide opening, because that's how the concrete layer and the mason would actually need to read that in order to get it correct. Now with framed walls, it's different. What we need to do for framed walls is dimension to the center of the opening. And so what I'm going to do is, if I've selected something I don't want to dimension to, I can just come and hover back over that and click again. And that's going to undo that selection. And then I can come and pick the center. I'm just going to do that, pick the center of all these windows. Go like that. Now, none of these windows are placed symmetrically. So another thing that Revit allows us to do is, if I just take these 3 windows, for example, and I go like this, if I hit this EQ button right here, this will equally space them. Now, the problem with this, though, is notice how there's a big area on the outside, but then between the windows, it's a lot smaller. And that's because of the way that the equal command works. Because really what we want is, we want the space between here and the center of the window to be equal to the space of the center of the window to the center between these windows, not to the center of the next window. So there's a way that we can easily trick Revit so that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to temporarily undo that. But we can trick Revit to actually do the equals like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to annotate. I'm going to do a detail line. I'm going to draw a detail line between these windows. And then I'm going to select this dimension line. And if I come up here to hit edit witness line, that opens back up the controls to edit this dimension. And then I'm just going to pick those 2 lines. And then I'm just going to click in the white space when I'm done. And then again, I'm going to hit that equals. And now we have a much more equal spacing of our windows. And now that I'm done with that, so you can see that we have 3'7", 3'7", and then 7'2" and 7'2". So this 3'7" is half of this 7'2". And so typically that's the way that you try to equally space your windows. This rule also applies with light fixtures too, and you can use the same trick when you're laying out light fixtures. Just draw your light fixtures, add some lines in between them, use the equal command, and then when you're done, you just come in here and you just delete those lines and you delete this dimension string, and that's how you get some equally spaced windows. The next thing that we're going to go over is interior dimensions. So depending on what you're doing, a lot of times with framing walls, you don't really want to measure to the center, you just measure to the edge. So I'm going to pick a dimension right here, and I'm going to pick just the right side of all my walls like this, and just dimension like that. Now, if this was a remodel, I can't very easily see the outside of the wall. So if I were to say that my exterior wall was existing and these were all new interior walls, what I would do is I would measure from the face of the existing and then just do the same thing, hit the right side of the stud, and then hit the inside face of that wall, just to make it easier for the framers who are laying it out. And then I would also do the same thing with my walls going this way. So I'd pick top of the wall, top of the wall, top of the wall, and I would do that to get my dimensions correct. And actually this one, I probably wouldn't do the top of the exterior wall. I'd probably do the outside of the wall if it's new construction, or inside if it's a remodel. But that's a quick overview of how to quickly add dimensions in Revit.